Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And yes, we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the usual disclaimers, yay, 2 more videos, and I finally get to eat. All right, folks, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the Judge Rotenberg Center's so-called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center does not want you to read that article so much. They have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, folks, NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC sees through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and utilize those headphones, all right? Trigger warning 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised, all right? So, where we left off. To be sure, a use-specific ban may be seen for constrain a physician's ability to acquire the device for the banned purpose. Again, that is not what is happening here. The ban against the GED device is not, hear me on this, not, let's use your words, a use-specific ban. The only reason that the use was even brought up in the conversation in regards to the ban has to do in regards to the evidence that has been presented since the beginning of the 2014 hearings on the subject in regards to how it has caused harm. The whole purpose of mentioning it was so that the evidence could be presented of the harm that this device has already caused. To introduce the ER documents, the psychologists and psychiatrists' evidence. That is the only reason whatsoever why the use of the device was ever mentioned. At no point within the 2020 ban decision was it ever mentioned that the GED was being banned for use-specific reasons. That is a lie. And then they compound the lie by trying to read into assumptions as to how the FDA was reading into the law that culminated into the creation of their department. And I'm getting really tired of having to repeat myself. To be sure, a use-specific ban may be seen to constrain a physician's ability to acquire the device for a banned purpose. Again, not what's happening here, Karen. but her ability to acquire the device would be equally, if not more, constrained in the case of an across the board ban, which all agree that the agency can impose. And yet, we're here. Because what the FDA did, and it is not up for interpretation for anybody with two brain cells to rub together who has actually read the document. That is exactly what the FDA did, folks. They did an across the board ban that the GED device was banned completely, which means it cannot be used for any purpose whatsoever at all, okay? I can't go get a GED device to go jump start a car, okay? All right? How this even came up for to debate just shows me how corrupt this whole thing is. And I already knew it was corrupt, but mother of God, when you get into the details of this and what they're trying to argue and push, it just becomes that much more clear, doesn't it? Doesn't it though? And the FDA's ability to take myriad other actions that can also prevent a device from reaching physicians is well established. No one disputes that the agency may decline to approve a device in the first place, for instance, or withdraw its prior approval of a device. Neither thing is happening here, but interesting in how you just tried to cover your tracks. So it's removing its previous approval for the device. No, it isn't. Because the FDA never approved the current device in use at that school. The facts are they approved one device in the 90s, the first generation of the GED device. Since then, the subsequent devices that have been made and so called improved since then, including the one that is known as the GED4 running on 85 MPa, just below the lethal limit, has never had FDA approval. This isn't even about revoking approval. We're talking again about a device that never had any form of approval whatsoever. In fact, we have a very documented case where the FDA made clear that the JRC just kept playing hide and go seek with them in regards into obtaining approval for the subsequent devices that came after that original device, starting all the way back from mid 90s on to the current day. So again, let's bring us back to what's going on here. You are essentially trying to claim that they had approval at a prior time in regards to the device in question. They did not. You're then trying to say, well, the FDA has the right to repeal that approval. This is true. But you can't repeal the approval of a device that was never approved of in the first place. Okay? Nor can you sit there and use the fact that they talked about what the device was being used for as a way to bring in the evidence of the harm that it has caused in regards to the reason as to why they were doing their job and banning the device outright by saying they're trying to tailor it, because nobody is arguing that you can use the GED for this but not for that. It is an out and out ban. we're gonna close on that, folks, and then we got one more vid, and I can like step away from the DC Circuit Court stupidity for the rest of the week. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye bye, everyone.